right? Because see how there's nudity in this card. The Two of Vessels here is about a meeting, people coming together, and yet staying aligned. Look how their knees are touching, and yet their spines are aligned, right? That's true romance. See the rose representing grace in between them, the grace of God between them, you know, their spiritual path. They're appreciating one another, but they're staying embodied, right? Instead of merging. It helps you stay on purpose. She's leaning back a little bit in her feminine yin energy. He's leaning forward a little bit, looking down, leaning down to her, you know, as in pursuit as the masculine. So it's in balance here. People feel they can be themselves and be authentic as this blooms, right? Didn't we have flowers? Yeah, the flower power card had come out. Getting in touch with flowers, right? Planting a seed and allowing it to bloom and letting that be a symbol or a metaphor for this relationship. Think of how you nurture a seed into, that takes patience, that takes nurturing, that takes kindness and awareness, attention, sunlight, some dark, right? There's a balance that has to happen here. There's resources need to be added there. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be nurtured, right? The heart needs nurturing. And then the Nine of Pentacles comes up. Nine of Pentacles is generally a card about independence. This is coins in this deck. Nine of Coins can be about financial independence, right? Feeling like finances are together, which did come up. These cards are a mess. Finances and career did come up, right? Maybe that has been your focus. So, or maybe that's what's lacking here and you sense you aren't worthy enough for a relationship because this isn't in order, right? Or maybe that's something you're seeking in a partner, and it's not helped you navigate, right? Maybe we got to put that in order of importance. And much like the flower, we have the Six of Vessels, which is about nurturing, loving, caring, filling up the vessels, not too much, not too little, giving enough attention to each aspect, weighing things out, right? Patience, taking your time, balancing out. This one gets this much water, this one gets this much water, right? Look, there's a flower, a purple flower in that vessel too. So flowers are being represented. Nurturing a flower, this is like a relationship. There's a metaphor in here for you about nurturing a relationship, much like you would nurture a flower to bloom, right? And also maybe about not picking the flower, right? Maybe allowing the plant to stay potted and loving it and observing it as you both remain aligned, right? There's symbolism there too, because we oftentimes like to pluck the flower, and that can be a source of this energetic vampirism that turns people off of you wanting to possess or own somebody, or vice versa, right? It's off-putting. We don't like it. How can we strengthen those energetic boundaries and those filters as empaths or sensitives, intuitives, artists? Artists, Lady of Swords. Lady of Swords in this deck is a musician. So this could be about singing your song, delivering your message, right? What do you stand for? What won't you put up with and show up? Are you listening to really sad love songs about unrequited love? Is that having an impact on your relationships and what you're attracting in? Be careful about what you let in, right? That came up in another reading. What music are you listening to now? Is it empowering you? Is it helping you believe in love? Is it helping you trust in this process, right? Giving you a sense of grace, so that you're not too controlling, you're nurturing just enough, right? But not too much. So that you're also not getting burned up in the fire of your passion, right? So it's about balancing, using water, the element of water, to temper this fire, this passionate fire. Because sometimes our passion can burn us alive, right? And maybe if you notice, fire can be about forgiveness, right? And that card came up too, right? Fire can be about forgiveness. And passion. But when it's exacerbated in the system, what can happen is the energy of fire, right? Can help us, make us burn bridges, not feel connected or attached, not meaning bond, help, not allowing us to feel the bond, right? So attachment isn't ever really good, but the bonding, right? If we have a hard time bonding with people and feel like, well, it's my way or the highway, I don't care what you have to say. Sometimes that can be exacerbated fire, and where we're kind of burning alive in this energy, and we're bossy and you got to do what I want you to do, or I'm done, I'm out, and we burn bridges. Sometimes we, that needs tempered with some water. And water, when it's flowing optimally, when it's in balance in the system, allows us to bond things temporarily. We don't feel attached, we don't feel clingy, we bond. So tempering that, and maybe this comes in between those two elements, and this is also an air element. So it's a balancing of elements here, right? Because of the sword, using the breath as you sing, vocalize, vibration, right? Tempering your vibration, because those strings are vibrated as we play them, which is also a metaphor for the energy field, right? Using the breath in the energy field to comb it out and see any areas where there's some density or stagnation, and just clearing and aligning. We're also navigating our fears here. Maybe we're facing some fears and it's overwhelming. Maybe we've been really hurt in the past by someone who didn't have feelings back, and they were immature about it. They weren't straight with us, right? They didn't let us know. They were being covert. So now we have to confront some fears, and maybe we're also navigating and balancing this fear of engulfment versus this fear of abandonment, right? And so we're just constantly navigating these two fears, bouncing back and forth, seeking balance here. Justice. Justice is about doing to others as you would have done to you, and that doesn't mean loving them how you need to be loved, right? Because everyone needs love differently. It does mean don't do a love spell if you wouldn't want someone to do that to you. It comes back. It comes back to you, right? Have honor here. Live gracefully in trust that if you invest in yourself, if you nurture yourself, if you're good to yourself, you have that to give, and that becomes a resonant match for somebody else who's also doing that for themselves and able to do that for you. So trust in the justice of that. This is also a Libra card, so that might have meaning for you. And then we have the Fool. A new beginning, brand new beginning. I'd say courageous, but fearless is the better word here, because this Fool isn't considering isn't even considering failing, right? So there's no fear to be had here. He's ready to go. See the rabbit for fertility showing up there, right? For fertility, fertile new beginning, on a new journey, the first step in a new journey, as we've recalibrated here, right? We've recalibrated our vibration by facing our fears, balancing and tempering our fire and our water and our earth, right? And our earth and our air, right? Working with the mental plane too, So here we've come into a state of balance. So we feel like a brand new person. We're taking a step into a brand new paradigm, brand new trajectory, because we've healed these resistances to relationship, right? Where we might have kept coming up unrequited. Unrequited. And the next card that comes up is the Lady of Coins. Look at her handing flowers. But she's the only one in the card. This can sometimes represent unrequited love because she's handing flowers out and no one's there to receive, which is kind of sad. But she's taken care of. She has her pouch there full of money, right? She is the Lady of Coins. So she feels stable on the material plane. She feels cared for financially. It's just this love thing that maybe she doesn't get. She's really buttoned up, right? Really covering up the heart. Very modest. And she's bracing herself to be rejected. Can you see that in her face? In her posture, it's sort of like, oh, here's some flowers. I don't know if you want them. And maybe that's part of it too, is like in the energy field, sometimes we get what we prepare for, right? Sometimes if we're like, there's no way they're going to like me, well, that shows up in a lack of confidence and then you're less attractive. So it can have that effect. But in this new paradigm, and there's nudity in this card, this is the lovers uniting, okay, just so you know, they are in the act. Cupid is pointing his arrow. This is what's to come when we shift this vibration and take this new path. You are going to unite with this lover, either this specific person you have in mind or somebody even better, who's a more resonant match for what you actually are creating here by nurturing yourself. So hope is not lost. This is the opposite of unrequited love. This is passionate love. This is, we have both of the lovers in here and we have the two of vessels. Okay, we have all the love cards here, okay? We have the lovers kissing, the lovers uniting. We have the lovers igniting. And we have the two of vessels of the lovers meeting. So they're all here. So this paradigm of your love not being reciprocated, or this sense that it's not reciprocated because of these worthiness issues or this self-image, right? Because part of this shift in vibration is, where's that card? Is changing the self-image, right? Working on the self-image. How you see yourself is something that needs updated currently, right? Everything comes down to how we see ourselves, right? How we identify, self-identity. Do you see yourself as a winner? Do you see yourself as an achiever, a lover? Do you see yourself as sensual and beautiful? Do you see yourself as hot and sexy? Do you see yourself as a phenomenal artist that's here to just focus on art? Do you see yourself as a business person, right? Who's phenomenal at business? Do you see yourself as a helper, as a healer, as a rescuer? That's why we work with aspects of self too. So we get in touch with other parts, even the shadow, right? Even the shadow, because those unconscious things carry a lot of weight when we don't look at them. So we look at them here. We say, how can we access that in a positive way? And how might it be showing up in a negative way? So we can shine a light there and integrate it more so it's less out of balance. All right, let's go to the Crystal or Information Oracle cards by Healing Crystals. Let's see what card. I didn't take out all the all the extra cards. Oh, okay. So we have a totem. We have a crystal totem deck. This is from the crystal totem deck. It's a ram. Ram is the totem, and fuchsite is I've sometimes called it fuchsite, but it is fuchsite. I looked it up after mispronouncing it for a long time. Okay, look at the words on this card. New beginnings, strength, balance. Okay. Spirit of Ram, help me take advantage of the opportunities that come before me while trusting that I will be safe. Oh, trusting that I will be safe in the light of God's grace, right? Trusting, learning to trust ourselves to handle all that comes, because I take stellar care of myself. Trusting to know when someone is usurping my energy, my life force, having a boundary around it, speaking my message. So that I know when a relationship is in balance and worth pursuing or investing in, right? Learning the balance of masculine and feminine energy so that there's enough friendship component as well as romantic component so that it stabilizes. Because we both want to be dynamic people where we call on our feminine side and we call on our masculine side when needed, right? It'd be great to have a partner that's capable of both too. That way it's not just this really masculine person, right? Who's always logical and reasonable and doesn't consider your feelings or think emotions are important at all, right? A little bit in touch with maybe that feminine energy. And then that connection to spirit, that connection to energies so that they understand where you're coming from. And maybe cultivating a little more of your masculine energy if there's not enough there, right? Or more of your feminine energy, depending on where you lean, so that maybe you're able to receive them more gracefully in your life and accept their shortcomings because you've owned your own imperfections, right? Finding the balance here, because we're looking at a new beginning here, a new paradigm, a new trajectory. It can be a small shift, but you're doing the work. I can see it here in the cards. You're doing the work. You're calling this in. You're just getting rid of all the resistance, right? All the fears, all the imbalance. You're cultivating inner strength here. Those situations in the past where it was unrequited or imbalanced and you made it mean something about yourself, no. We're cutting that out. We're getting better at nurturing ourselves and understanding that life is happening for us, and maybe it carved out a lot of inner strength, a lot of ability to shine light, a huge capacity to love and understand. That is a gift in relationships. So balance in giving and receiving, taking responsibility of what you need to do for yourself too, right? So that it's not just I show up to give. Okay, well, that's also out of balance, right? Just like I said, not all wisdom is for every person. If you hear relationship is about showing up to give, but you're only giving and giving to another person and never honoring your own needs and giving to yourself and nurturing yourself, it's not going to sustain. Both people need to be showing up to give to the relationship, right, as a separate entity. New beginning, strength, balance. Incredible, right? Incredible. All right, let's see if our minds are going to be further blown. Well, mine, I don't know about yours. I won't speak for you. By the Essential Oils Oracle deck by Lisa Powers. And see what essential oil wants to show up. Marjoram. Did you read that? Comfort is the key word. The trigger statement is people cannot be trusted. It's a little spooky, isn't it? I'm not surprised anymore. Marjoram, people cannot be trusted. And then the true statement is, I trust my heart. I trust my heart. Right? The heart speaks to us in resonance. That's why I was saying, like, if you're taking in information, like a reading, like if you're reading something that was written by a human, and it's language, so it's limited in what it's able to convey, right? Music is a richer form of a message because there's also sound components that are speaking to us, not just the words. So we're being spoken to with sound, which also influences us and sends a message. But trust the resonance of your heart. What is your heart guiding you to do, right? Trust that it's attuned to the grace of God or a higher power, whatever you believe in, co-creative forces, source, higher self. It's attuned to a higher power. You've done that work, right? Or you're on the path. That's why you're here, right? That's why you're here. And learning to build coherence by putting your mind to your heart, breathing into the heart, right? Heart Math. Heart Math Institute does a lot of research on this, has already done a lot of research on this about building coherence. A lot of practitioners, spiritual teachers are talking about this. Building coherence. I trust my heart. The heart speaks to us through resonance. Does it resonate? Your big, beautiful heart is ready to open. Trust that you will be able to discern who is best to walk with you. I could cry. That's so beautiful. I hope that speaks to you. If you're feeling alone, if you're feeling untrusting of a higher power to provide this for you, or you don't trust yourself, you know, I can feel that this is speaking to someone. I can feel that this is speaking to someone. I hope this brings you hope, right? Sorry, I'm a little tired. I woke up with a migraine today, so I'm going to feel a little emotional. So, marjoram, the oil of connection. Are you feeling disconnected right now? Marjoram can help. The aroma of marjoram. Fuchsite as well, right? Coming into a balanced new beginnings. But the scent of marjoram is the oil of connection. It aids those who are unable to trust others or form meaningful relationships. This inability to trust often stems from harsh life experiences. These individuals develop a fear of close connection. In relationships, they may tend toward reclusive behaviors, right? Reclusive behaviors, protecting themselves even further by abstaining from social interactions. They may also protect themselves by unconsciously sabotaging long-term relationships. Working with the unconscious here, right? To weed out all things we are in resistance of. My mind is blown. Marjoram shows the barriers that you have formed to protect yourself from others. It reveals patterns of aloofness, distancing oneself from other people, or being cold. Those in need of marjoram oil most likely use these protective coping strategies unintentionally. Deep down, they desire the intimate connection they subconsciously sabotage. And there's more. But marjoram will help you emotionally open and connect, form close relationships, soften your heart, feel more loving, and give you the ability to trust, right? Wow. I'm reading from, this book is particular to doTERRA. I'm a doTERRA representative, but Emotions and Essential Oils, a reference guide for emotional healing. These cards by Lisa Powers are also doTERRA. I just take out the blends, right? And I don't read the blends for doTERRA, but I use just the singular oils. But how profound is that? I'm blown away. That's exactly what we were talking about. Okay, so let's go to Life Loves You. The Life Loves You cards by Louise Hay and Robert Holden. To see one last message, one last affirmation to take with us. That was so moving. I didn't think I could top the ram totem with the fuchsite. I didn't think I could top it. I thought, that's so on point. We'll see what the oils have to say, but I don't think I can top that. And then we get marjoram. That was really moving to me. I'm astounded by this process. Are you receiving it that way on the other side? Like, these cards. And as I navigate the process, I refine, right? I refine, like combining all the oracles to kind of, so that I don't have to pull so many cards from one deck and get the same reading over and over. It's like combining all those cards was an insight, a guidance that I followed, and I feel like it really worked out. I think I'm going to keep that for now. One last card. My heart, my heart. I feel so moved. Did you feel that connection too? Were you moved in that moment? I just feel like all this energy was coming to me. Because, you know, in this process, time doesn't really exist. Like, I'm feeling your reaction now. I know that sounds crazy, but it's you can send that energy back in time to me. It's very crazy. It's very, I learned some of these things, you know, how energy works and all of that from my mentor, Shelley Poovey. Working with her, I can see how doing things in this moment shifts the past. And then it's almost like time travel. It's really crazy, but it's on the mental plane. It's not, I'm not traveling back in time in the physical world, but, or create a new futuristic paradigm. It's really profound work. Oh my God. Are you kidding? I nurture my inner child. I'm blown away. Loving your inner child helps you remember your innocence and recognize how much life loves you. Ask the child within, what can I do for you today? That's so moving. What can I do for you today? I nurture my inner child. Nurture yourself. To build trust, right? And trusting in higher power, the grace of a higher power, that you're co-creating this experience. You have forces on your side. You're not alone here. These cards remind me of that. Wow. Okay, so let's do some sound healing to wrap it up. Were you moved by that? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna need a smaller bag for these cards. All right, so go ahead and close your eyes and tune in. Breathing deeply, maybe putting hands to the heart like in the Mother Mary Nurture Yourself card, tuning in, knowing your inner child is speaking to you through the resonance as well. Asking your inner child what it needs, showing yourself some nurturing energy. And just taking in the sound. Your skin is like a big ear enveloping your entire body, so it will absorb the vibrations. But you can also use it mindfully and just tune into whatever pitch speaks more profoundly to you. Do you find yourself in the intervals, right? Do you find yourself ascending with the tones or descending? Noticing how it affects your energy system. Good, now just revitalizing the system, coming back to the room, recalibrating, and however you need to. Notice how your system's recalibrating. Do you have more awareness at the heart? Good. I hope this little reading, intuitive coaching session was helpful to you and that you found some resources here, internal resources, as well as resources outside of you. They're everywhere, aren't they? I hope this was encouraging on your road to connecting with other people and finding a partner, right? Trusting in the grace of God or higher power, co-creative forces to guide you, navigate you, and for you together while doing your part, right? Not just sitting on the couch and waiting for him or her to arrive. Taking the steps you're guided to take. And that first step, nurture yourself, love yourself, and let that inner child know you're not going anywhere, not for any other person, that you are its first priority, that the inner child's your first priority and you won't abandon it. That's step one, right? Loving the self, loving yourself, respecting yourself, because love is on the way. Are you ready? Are you ready for it? Let's get ready. Reach out to me if you need an individual session to work out any of this resistance or fear. Like and subscribe so that I know you're out there, that you're liking it. I really appreciate that. Thank you for donations. Helps me keep going. And your comments about how this is resonating. So much love. It's already here, isn't it? See you in the next reading, empath.